I would like to welcome everybody to my podcast, Her Little Pink Couch. And I'm going to let my two guests introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about themselves. And we'll start with Miss Rosalind here.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Rosalind Atkinson. I am an ordained minister. I am a wife and a mother of 3 adult sons and 4 beautiful granddaughters. I am an entrepreneur as well. I am a domestic violence advocate. I love women. I love to address women's issues because I know that we're powerful. And if we will understand that and we get to the root of our issues, there's nothing that we can't do.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm H.E.R. So I do music and I'm a nurse. So I minister through my hands and my voice. I like to heal people. So my songs are mainly about stuff I've been through or things I've seen people go through. So I try to help people through music.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little icebreaker here.
Okay.
For both of you ladies, actually. Tink, I'm going to start off with you.
Okay.
5 words that describe yourself in 60 seconds.
Silly,
Mm-hmm.
caring, soulful, articulate, and procrastinator. I'm just put that out there. I work well under pressure, so for me, I have to put the pressure on myself so I can get out the best project.
I don't know, that might be an Aquarius thing because I'm a bit of a procrastinator
I'm definitely a
too.
procrastinator, but when my project comes, you gonna be like, oh yes, you did that.
And you, Miss Rosalind?
Well, 5 words that describe me. I am truthful, articulate, expressive. All those things come with okay. Aggressive.
I like that too.
And sweetie pie.
Ooh,
I like that.
I like that.
I like that. All right,
Okay.
you got to do yours too.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can tell
come on through.
Oh, man, right on the spot.
Yes.
I'm definitely goofy. Outgoing. I hate this about myself, but I can be a little bit passive. But that's because I have a good heart. And I talk too much. I love to talk. I'm very talkative and outspoken. Yeah, but that came from a place of me always being quiet and being in situations where I couldn't speak. So
Now you using that.
yes, now I'm using it. Yes. So we have Rosalind here. We're going to talk about her book and just about who she is today. Rosalind, I would like to start off with just talking about you and about the beginning of your first marriage and how things started off.
Well, I met my ex-husband, who, by the way, today is his birthday.
Oh.
And this is the day in 2011 that changed everything for me. I met him in the 9th grade. He was absolutely a dream come true. I love the ground that he stood on. I thought when the sun came out, that's because he woke up. And went down when he went to sleep.
Wow.
And I know, people say a lot of times, oh, I never knew love like that. Well, you ain't never knew love because I loved that man like that. And we dated for 11 years and we got married when I was 24 years old. And he was a really good boyfriend. Because I'm not crazy. I knew what I wanted early on in life. I really did. And he was good to me, and he was nice to me, and he was kind to me. And when we got married, literally 3 days after we got married and we moved in our apartment, I remember shutting the door of the apartment, saying to myself, who in the hell is this?
Wow.
Because it started then, and it just got progressively worse. Yeah, throughout the years, it just got progressively worse. And, we had 3 sons together.
Wow.
He was the only man that I ever been with. I actually was a virgin when I married
Wow.
Yeah, and we were in church.
Wow.
Yeah, I got saved first. And, yeah, as a teenage girl, 16. He got saved about a year later. And it was just something. I never thought that marrying him, my life would be that way. I always dreamed of happily ever after. I just knew that we would, because we laughed together, we had fun together as kids. We spent a lot of time together. He became the son that my mom never had, because my mother only had 5 girls. And so he was just a part of my home and a part of my family. Everybody knew him, everybody loved him. But he was narcissistic and he was kind to everybody else, but he wasn't kind to me.
Wow. Yeah. So, like with that being said, did you notice any red flags?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the beginning?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And remember, I was a kid. But I did. I remember we had gotten in a huge argument, and I was 18 years old, and I was going to medical assistant school. And he would bring his clothes to our house to wash them. And we hadn't talked for a couple of days. And I told him, I said, I put your clothes, we're in the elevator, I said, I put your clothes on the tree line. And he smacked me in the elevator. Oh yeah, that should have been a one and done.
That before you guys got married?
That was before we got married. I was 18. Yeah, that should have been a one and done. But it wasn't. Right. You know, because I felt like I provoked that. I shouldn't have told him that I put his clothes on the tree line. I don't care what you say to a man. There's no point ever where he should put his hands on a woman. At all. Or do to a man. There's no point. They're physically stronger than us. That's their makeup. That's how God made them to be. So they can harm us. They can, you know, absolutely. Because they're much stronger than us. Yeah. So it was a whole lot of things that he could have said and or did without putting his hands on me. Absolutely. So yeah, I saw him. And we, as women, you know, we have a tendency to think that, you know, we can walk past the red flags. And especially we think when we get married, it'll get better. But I'm here to tell you, it gets absolutely worse. Wow. It gets progressively worse. If a person is not willing to change on their own, I don't care what you do, say, pray. I don't care how you swing from chandelier. I don't care how you hot, warm, or cold. If they do not want to change on their own, it is nothing that you can say and do to make that happen. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have anything to say, Tim?
I'm agreeing with that.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with that. I think we kind of let go of the red flags too. We be so like in love.
Yeah, absolutely.
That love word be right there. So we be like,
right.
He'll get it together. Yeah. He'll change later. Like, we got time to work on it. We still young. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of like ignore those. But
yeah. That's the question that I get asked a lot. Like, why do we ignore red flags? But a lot of times, I don't know, like coming from having a good heart, you feel like you can unlove the bad out of somebody or make them change because you're showing them, like, despite of you doing this to me, I'm showing you that I still love you. And
and maybe that'll make you love you more.
Yeah.
And I think change.
We can show them how to love us. And we can't.
Absolutely not.
And we good at repainting pictures too.
Oh,
we a picture right there. We be like, oh no, let me erase that for you. Let me erase that. It's okay. I'm gonna fix this line. Like, we good with repainting pictures instead of just seeing somebody for who they are. Like,
absolutely.
In the beginning.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, kind of what we were just talking about. When did you notice a change or a switch up in him?
Well, like I said, it was periodically in a relationship. Like he was, before we got married, you know, he would do and say some things that he shouldn't have said or done. You know, I tell women all the time, verbal abuse is just as damaging as physical abuse. And a lot of times we think because the person doesn't call us out of our name, it's not verbal. My ex-husband, when we would get married, or any time I would call his name, this is how he would answer. I don't care what it was. I could fix the plate. It could be somebody at the door for him. Somebody at the door for him. He would always change up. But I could call his name and be like, "What?" Wow. I don't care what it was. He could have been just talking on the phone with somebody nice and kind. Wow. And I call his name. It was, "What?" Yeah, just all the time. We're women, we should be treated with delicacy,
Absolutely.
love, kindness, and patience.
Mm-hmm.
Not screaming and hollering at us. And we argued every day. I don't care what it was about. It was this is pink. Oh, this I would say, oh, this is a pretty fuchsia. That's not fuchsia, that's pink. The sky blue. No, they ain't. You see the clouds over there? It would just
yeah.
Whatever.
Anything to argue.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so we as women, we have to pay attention to all of that going into the relationship and not be so, inundated or so, what's the word I'm looking for? Enamored with charisma and all of that. Ain't crazy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I had two crazies.
Yeah. Crazy.
I just want to say, though, I seen you speak at my best friend, her mother, Zelda.
Yes.
Yeah, I seen you speak there, and you said something that, literally made the hairs on my arm stand up. Because I'm also a domestic violence survivor. I, too, was married before in a terrible, abusive marriage. And you said that you went from being an unloved wife to a loved wife. And I felt that. When I tell you that was so beautiful, and I'm trying not to cry, you can think about it, but that really touched my soul because I've been unloved for so long and trying to pour all this love into somebody. And when you spoke about that, I don't remember exactly what you said verbatim, but you basically were saying how you was years just pouring love into somebody that didn't deserve it, and then eventually, what did you say?
I said,
I don't want to get it messed up.
I said I poured everything and sold everything into a man that did not reciprocate. A man did not appreciate. A man did not honor it. But because God is so wonderful and because He doesn't let anything go to waste. And when we sow seed time and harvest is going to happen. None of us went outside and told the leaves to change colors. It is so pretty outside. It's going to happen because that's a law of the land. And so I was sowing it to somebody that wasn't deserving of that. And then God blessed me with husband number 2. Oh, baby. I have a loved wife. He loves me. I left the house Saturday with a girlfriend to an event. And I said, you don't miss me? He said, I miss you already.
Oh,
I said, don't worry about it. I said, when I be home. I won't be lingering around talking to them.
Right.
For what?
Yeah.
Look, finger up, the church finger.
That was so beautiful. That touched me. I took that with me because that was a gem to take. That was beautiful. My next question would be, why do you ladies feel domestic violence is a silent killer?
Because it's hard to talk about sometimes. You don't really have nobody to talk to about it. So you could be literally going through all this stuff and nobody don't even know about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And for me, I think the emotional abuse is worse than the physical. Yeah. Because emotionally, I've been in a situation where I was emotionally damaged. Years prior. But that emotional abuse is something else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it makes you start doubting yourself and start doubting who you are as a woman and feeling like you're just not enough. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with the wrong people. So I think that's why it can be a silent killer. Because sometimes we don't have nobody to talk to about it. We don't want nobody to judge us. We don't want nobody to judge our partner.
Yeah.
Or be mad at our partner because we've been told our girlfriends and then our girlfriend, now she mad at them.
Yeah.
And now we can forgive them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes it becomes that silent killer because you're I don't want to tell nobody because I don't want to lose them. I'm still in love with them. I still want to be
right.
with them. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how it can be a silent killer.
Absolutely. That's real good. And especially in church, because we are taught, that God honors marriage and that He hates divorce, which is true. He does. All of that is the truth. And so nobody gets married to get a divorce. You never say I do it to altar saying, okay, in 3 years I'm gonna be done with this. No, this is forever, And so you don't want anybody to know that your happily ever after is not that happy.
Wow.
Yeah. So you don't want to say anything, and so you cover. I know I did. I covered so much. I covered things so my sons wouldn't see it. I covered things so my family wouldn't see it. I just was talking to my two younger sisters. We were all on the phone together. And I can remember why we brought up my ex-husband's name. We were talking about a situation. And I said, yeah, yeah, I said, when I hear, because I'm a survivor of thyroid cancer. And I was going to have surgery on a Friday morning. And Wednesday morning, middle of the night morning, I woke up with a knife touching my throat, like sticking in the throat. And I never sleep on my back. And so I was sleeping on my back for whatever reason, and I could feel this stick. And you sleeping.
Right.
Sticking me, and you hitting it, then you wake up, and he is on top of me with a knife to my throat, and he told me if I screamed, he would slit it.
Jesus.
And he raped me. And so my baby sister didn't know that. She said, what? Because she never read my book. She won't read it. I said, well, I thought you knew. She said, no. She said, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I kept all of that. Only one person I told that story to before I wrote it in a book. Because it's in a book. It's only one, which was my best friend. I told her, But it's just so much stuff that you keep. And I remember that I didn't want him to come to the hospital with me for the surgery. And so one of my really, really, really good friends was fussing at me, saying, you don't want him to come, that's your husband. But I couldn't tell her.
Wow.
I couldn't tell her that I didn't want him to come because he just raped me at knife point. And so it wasn't until about 4 or 5 years later, after we were divorced, and she and I were together, we were coming home, we were just talking, and I told her, I said, I got something to tell you. She said, what? I said, remember when I had surgery? She said, yeah. I said, not when Robert comes to the hospital. She was like, yeah. She said, I was fussing at you. I said, yeah. I said, but the reason why is because he raped me 2 days prior. And I, she was like, I'm so sorry. Yeah. But you, how do you go to the church and say,
yeah, this happened.
right? Well, my ex-husband was the loudest hallelujah in the church. He was the loudest hallelujah.
Wow.
Both spoken tongues out of everybody in church. What is you doing? Yeah, he was.
Wow.
He was. And it was wonderful to people. So how can I tell all these people that he is so nice to and so kind to, that he is abusive to me? Who's going to believe that?
Right.
Yeah, because it wasn't no marks, because he didn't physically, I wouldn't beat up every day. That wouldn't go happen. But it was times that he did slap me and shove me. But I didn't have any physical marks, but I had all these emotional scars.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I had plenty of them.
Wow. I think that's a big question too. Like, why do we protect them?
Why?
Yes.
Because we protect them a lot.
We do.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We protect them.
And I think, like with one of my exes, because I was in 2 domestic violence situations, I never called the police on him.
Wow.
And he would beat me to the point my eyes was black. My nose, I still have a broken nose to this day. Because he stalked me, and he was a big guy, 6'2" and muscle, picked me up and headbutted me, pushed all of this into my skull.
Oh, MG.
Because I didn't want to talk to him. And I didn't even call the police in. And I felt terrible, like afterwards, like, why did I protect him? And in my mentality, I'm thinking like, okay, he's doing all of this, but he's a black man. Yeah. And I always went to, if I call the cops, then it's going to be worse for him. And he already got a terrible life, so I'll just leave.
Bad.
Yeah.
Like, why?
But why are we like that?
Because I think one of the reasons is because we're nurturers by nature. That's just who women are. We nurture everything and everybody. Somebody's child get hurt, we're crying, it's not even our child.
Right.
And I think that we can repair anything and anybody. And these grown men, we can't repair them. They were broken somewhere along the line, didn't have nothing to do with you. And so they have to come to terms and grips with their own lives.
Yeah.
And so the abuse that they're taking out on us as women is really their own stuff. It really don't have anything to do with us. It has everything to do with them and their frustration, and their non-achievement and how they feel their low self-esteem and low self-worth. It has everything to do with them. It don't have nothing to do with you and that.
Absolutely.
That's where the narcissism comes in.
Yeah.
Have they ever hit you with that though? I've been through this as a kid. That's why I'm this way.
All the time.
Yeah.
And see, the thing with my ex-husband was his he was 10. 10. He and his two brothers and his mom and dad were in a home, and the stove leaked. And so they were there for 3 days. His mom, his dad was dead on arrival. His mom died 7 days later. He's 10.
Wow.
Him and his two brothers survived. So I understood that. So I felt bad for that. So he's like, and so, black people have a hard time getting counseling today. So, back in that day, they wasn't getting none at all. And it don't take nothing away from you to sit on the couch, lay on the couch, in the chair, sit on the floor, talk to somebody. Like you're not strong enough, you need to talk to somebody.
Right.
And so, they didn't get any help for him because he was a kid. And so what they did was, because he was a baby of a bunch, they babied him. And so they didn't make him be responsible for the things that he did.
Because of his situation.
Absolutely. And then here I come.
Yeah.
You added to it.
Yeah. And feeling bad for him. Feeling sad. And so because I knew where his pain came from and where his trauma came from, I thought by showing him what a family is supposed to be.
Wow.
And how ours could be great, that he would change his behavior. And he never did.
Yeah.
Don't change him.
I thought that
You
too.
can give him everything.
I'm
everything
guilty
that
of
they said it was missing.
Everything.
Yeah.
You could be I'm everyone.
Right. Change the wings up, change the
eyes. What she say, swing from the chandelier.
I'm like it's hot, warm, or cold. You know what I'm saying? Flat up in the pan, never make to get in a man, and you still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. My next question would be, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Ooh. To walk past him.
Don't get his number.
That's right.
And so I'm telling you, I was so determined to get this man. I didn't pay him attention when we first got in the 9th grade. I didn't, and I was put up. He failed. That's the only way we met. So I know how to make sure we met. I'm telling you, and I say this all the time, to get them 3 sons on the earth. Because it'd be 2 people to have to generate people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certain people to come to planet. And so I believe, because I was promoted, skipped a grade, he failed, we met. But I didn't even pay him any attention like the first month or so in school. I liked somebody else. And I'll never forget, it was typing class that our typing teacher put our names in alphabetical order. And so mine was B and his was J. And when it came back down the road, we were sitting right next to each other.
Wow.
And then I looked over at him and I saw them light brown hazel eyes. It was over.
Yeah.
Baby, them eyes was everything. Tall, brown. When you're have hazel eyes and you like, they're pretty. But when you have hazel eyes and you're caramel, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm telling you, and them eyelashes was out the hair, and they were brown too.
I'm a
baby. I was done. Oh, baby, I was done. Yeah, I was determined to get. He didn't like me at first.
Wow.
But because we looked good together, our whole section would put us together. And would be fussing at him because he was like, I don't like that girl. And my classmates would be fussing at him. Yes, you do, y'all. And I used to tell them, we're going to get married. We're going to have 3 kids and a picket fence.
Wow.
A white picket fence. We got married, we had 3 kids. We never got the white picket fence.
All right.
So I would say, walk past him.
Yeah.
I
What
really
about
would.
you, sis? What would you say to your younger self?
I think I would probably push self-love a little bit more for my younger self.
Wow.
I think I love myself, of course, but when you go through, I'm plus size first and foremost. Let's start there. Just being a BTW, it was hard for me growing up. You know what I'm saying? I think it took me a while to start learning to love myself. So just kind of love me. Put me first.
I would have to agree with that.
Okay, that's my biggest thing for myself.
Yeah, that's good. I would definitely agree with that. What was the last straw for you?
Oh, it's so funny because you can have all this terrible stuff happen, and then it just be one thing that really is not that bad. And so the one thing for me was, I used to, now I switch. I generally clean my house up on Fridays. I generally clean my house up on Saturdays. So the only thing that he had to do was change our bed and vacuum the bedroom floor and clean out my dressers and clean out my nightstands. That was it. So he knew that I hated if he waited till the midday, the end of the day, or the next day. That would just drive me crazy. So I would do it. So this particular day I didn't do it, and I brought the vacuum cleaner in the bedroom. And I was like, "You'll clean the bedroom?" He said, "He looked at me when I feel like it." So he knew, like 2 weeks prior to my youngest son had a birthday party at Applebee's. I was going to take him. He was going to pick him up. So I reminded him of that. And he told me if I wanted him to go, then I would take him and I would pick him. He wasn't going to switch off on me. I'm telling y'all, something in me, like it switched off, like permanently. Like, you get a flicker all in all, you know what I'm saying? But it switched off permanently. And I got in the car with my baby boy, who was 14 at the time. And I said, "Ramel," I said, "me and your daddy gonna always be together." And he said, "Yeah, mommy, I see that." I said, "But we're going to be okay." He said, "Yeah, mommy." He said, "We gonna be good." I said, "We gonna be good, Ramel." He said, "We gonna be good." That's when it started. That's exactly when it started. It was that thing that just, and then my best friend passed away on his birthday, which is today. And when we got to the hospital, I'm crying because me and this girl has been friends since I was 18. My oldest son is her godson. Her only child is mine. And I am boo-hooing. He never said, "I'm sorry." He never hugged me. He never held my hand. I did that for her husband, but never me. We got home. I'm done. I'm like walking in the fall because it was Sunday. We weren't expecting her to pass. And he was just cold to me, and that was it. But what put the nail in the cake, or the nail in the coffin, and the icing on the cake, was at her homeborn service, and I'm sitting there, and tears are running out my face. The woman gets up to read the obituary, and on the back of the obituary was her poem. She was a poet. They found her last poem, and they put it on there. I had that poem. I had a fire in my house, and we lost like 95% of everything. But that poem is still here. And because what she put on that poem did not make sense. It wasn't her truth, but it was for me. I know it was. She needed something because she was a poet that everything had to rhyme. She was like, "I don't like poetry that don't rhyme."
Yeah.
She don't find a word that's gonna rhyme with it. It didn't one. Right. And so she said that I have a family and something else, and then she said, "but an unhappy home." Well, her husband was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. She was on the Alice. He did everything for her. Her husband was so wonderful. I introduced her to my sister-in-law, my current sister-in-law, and they got married a year later. Wow. That's how wonderful he is. And so, but when I heard that, the tears said zoop, and I thought that I just thought it in my head, but I said it because it was 3 of us that hung all together. Our other best friend, she said, "What did you say?" I thought it was just in my mind. I said, "Those will not be the last words anybody hear from me." Wow. 2 days later, I asked for divorce. That was it. That sealed the deal. Wow. Yeah.
Got any questions, sis?
I did. I had a question.
Okay.
So, was there any infidelity?
You know what? And that's what he wouldn't do.
Okay.
He didn't cheat that I know of. He was the kind of man that I could put my hand on. He drove the bus for RTA for 24 years. He get off that bus, he come home. If he's not coming home, He already told me I'm going to get a haircut. I'm going to visit my auntie. It was that I can always. It was no unaccounted for time. You know, I tell women all the time, schedules change, routine change. You better check out everything.
Right.
Unaccounted for time. You better check out everything. Because men are routine. You know what I'm saying? They doing this like all the sons that go left. You need to pay attention because something that went left.
Yeah.
Right. And so it wasn't that. He brought his money home. And I controlled the money. It wasn't that. He was this kind of man. I use this example all the time because it's a true story. He could make, he didn't cook, I did all the cooking, but he could make dad food sandwiches. He was in the kitchen making sandwiches one day. And I just came out the bedroom and my water glass was empty. And he was pouring out the pitcher, water into his glass. And I put my glass on the table and scooted it over there. I said, pour me some water. He put the pitcher down and said, pour it yourself.
Oh. Like,
so he was just like that.
Oh yeah.
He was just like that.
Yeah.
I know usually sometimes with abuse, sometimes infidelity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, it comes right into it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I was asking.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure. I am a domestic abuse advocate, and I talk to women all the time that deal with the other woman, and some of them know about the other woman. You know, he ain't shamed, or you know, he's not keeping her a secret. She know who the side chick is, you know, and all of that. And I say, you should love you more than you love him. The moment that we love ourselves more than we love them, it changes the whole game.
Oh,
See, I've always loved myself. I always had self-esteem. Ain't nothing been wrong with that. And I ain't never had no problem with getting a man. I just ain't never had no problem with that. I know some people have a problem with that. That ain't never been mad. That's the truth. From a little girl, I just ain't, you know. And I ain't saying that I'm the prettiest peach on the tree, but I ain't the ugliest either. And so he knew that, and he knew that and or abusing our children would be the day that I would live up under a bridge.
Wow.
Instead of staying in the house with him.
Yeah.
Because see, he was the only man that I had ever been with. So if you brought a woman into this bed, it's over with. You bring somebody else, it's
completely over with. Yeah.
I struggled to the day I died.
That's right. Yeah. Did you receive any like negative feedback when you mentioned a divorce, like growing up in the church? Because I know, like, for me, it was mixed reviews, and surprisingly, love my grandfather dearly, and rest his soul. But he was like, I just don't understand. Like, he felt like he was one of those in the Bible, like. He don't believe in
you know, back in the day, they'd be together for 60, 70
Yeah.
years. They'd have been through side kids, side women. They'd have been through all, and they staying together.
Other children.
Absolutely.
I'm like, look, I ain't Al Green. Sorry, Granddaddy. I got to go.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, you know, but I didn't care. You know, and I would say this: nobody lived with him but me. Nobody heard the words, but most importantly, nobody felt it like I did. So your opinion of what I'm doing, it carries no weight. None. I didn't give a rule. And so when people say, because God does, the Bible says he hates divorce, but I tell them this, I tell people this, he hates abuse.
Yes.
It's so much stuff that he hates. He ain't lying, he ain't cheating, he ain't adultery, he ain't all that. And so all of that is wrapped up in sin, and all sin is forgivable. So you mean to tell me that the God that created me fearfully and wonderfully made, that numbered the hair of hairs on my head, not counted them, but each one has their own number. This is how acquainted and intimate he is with us. It's okay with a man smacking me upside my head and treating me like I'm a dog. Not the one I serve.
Not at all.
So y'all take that on down the street with your religious self.
Yeah.
And y'all be you marry him.
Right.
Hey, you not say that to like,
Yes.
you should give him a chance. You give him a chance.
Yeah, you do that.
Yes.
I'm good.
Do you ladies think that emotional abuse is almost worse than physical?
I just said that. I think it is too. Because like mentally, if you messed up mentally, I think that's like a big thing for me. Like, I hate living in a mental H.E.R. I'm gonna say. I don't like living there. Like mentally, if I'm messed, because I'm a mental person. Like I like thinking, reading, all that stuff. So if you mess with me mentally, that's worse than physical. Physical, we gonna work. I'm just gonna tell you that now. We gonna work. I'm gonna say, wow, we gonna rock, baby. But mentally, like if you get in my head, like that's worse for me because that I live there. You know, like I'm a writer, so I'm in my head all the time. Like I live there, and if I'm not happy there, like that's hell for me.
It absolutely is horrible because what women have a tendency to do is they take it inward. You know what I'm saying? And we started listening to that. I was talking to a woman that asked her husband for a divorce, and he told her when nobody ever wanted because she was a big girl. And I told her, I said, listen here. And I'm playing, I'm real. I'm real. I said, listen here. I said, it is men that will walk past the chick that's a size 7, 8, and the 18, 20, 22, 25, 20. They didn't even look her way. That's just the little bitty girl. Okay, you cool. But that ain't what he wants. That is not what he's attracted to. That is not what he's attracted to. He liked the big girl. I said, so don't you let him tell you that.
Yes.
Girl,
that's the way of keeping you.
That is. And making you feel better. Well, I'm going to stay with this because maybe
maybe you right.
Yeah. But that's a whole lot.
That's gaslighting.
That's all that is. That's all that is.
Yeah, absolutely. My next question to you would be, what did healing look like for you? Like when you left that situation, how did you heal?
You know, first of all, I had to forgive him. And I decided to forgive him in a hospital bed that he put me in after hitting me with a car. So after my family had left, and I'm talking to God, and I'm crying the whole night, and I said, I forgive him. I said, it's acting my own will, I forgive him. Because I decided that nobody that had put me through the kind of hell that he had put me through for 24 years was going to still hold me in bondage while they would be in prison. Because unforgiveness keep that thing attached to you.
Absolutely.
So you have to let it go. And so I did. I had to let it go. And then I went and I sat on the couch. I talked to pastors and all that. I need to talk to somebody with some letters behind their name, other than the church and the clergy and all of that. And one of the things that my therapist said to me, she said, you are one of the people that I've given the least diagnosis to. She said, because you've done the work.
Wow.
She said, you realize that it didn't have nothing to do with you. Because I had did everything humanly possible to please this man. And nothing worked. I was like, well, it ain't me, it's you, boo. You know? And so I did that before even getting to her. You know what I'm saying? And so the biggest thing for me wasn't the unforgiveness, because I released all of that. It wasn't sitting and talking with somebody. It was getting over the fact that I could love somebody that would try to kill me.
Wow.
What was in me that attracted me to somebody that could, one, say that they loved me, and that I loved with everything in me, that I could love them, and they could try to kill me. So I had to do some deep diving. You know what I'm saying? And do some intro stuff, introspect, and to see what was it that I missed with this man.
Wow.
That he could try to kill me. How do we love these people? What attracts me to them? So once you figure that out and get that broken and healed from that, then you won't attract that kind of behavior again.
Absolutely.
Or if it knock at your door, you see it and you shut the door. Because before my current husband, I had a couple of people that I talked to and saw some stuff, and they still looking for me. That's me.
That's all right.
First red flag.
They still looking for me. Because nobody couldn't do that to me. Nobody. Because this time I was going to jail. Because I'm telling you.
That's how I was.
So I was going to jail. So they still look when she go.
She not even brain
She still working. Yeah. She. I don't want to take no more nothing on nobody.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
But you got to get to the root of that. Then you can see the red flags. Because if you don't, then you'll keep attracting that same type of individual.
Yeah, they call it trauma bonds too.
Yeah. And I had to realize that, like, after, because I got out of an abusive marriage just to get with an abusive man. And I said, Nikki, you did not allow yourself time to heal. And then I started thinking, like, what is attracting me to these crazy people?
Trauma bonds.
And I had to, like, dissect myself and see what was in me that was making me talk to these same type of guys. Because I told my mom, I said, Mom, I feel like I dated the same person in 3 different people. And then when I dug deeper, I said, one, it was because I didn't know who I was. I didn't fully love myself. And I had daddy issues. And guys like that, that's abusive, they're attracted to females that have daddy issues. I never had a father, even though he was there physically, he wasn't there mentally. So I never had that in my life to see like what a man is supposed to do or how he's supposed to treat a woman. And doing some digging, I really got to see who I was. And like that next time around, I was like, no. You can't bring something in my face and think, you can't bring me a pile of crap and telling me it's roses and I'm going to believe it this time around.
You can't peel me and tell me it's water.
Yeah. Not at all.
You better not even walk the wrong way.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Delete.
Next.
Not playing.
Yeah. So, like, my closing question to you would be, who is Rosalind today?
Oh, she is whole.
Wow.
She is whole. She is so whole. She is healed from that. You know, people ask me a lot, like, how were you able to love again? You know, it's because I'm whole. And I understood clearly that what I share with my current husband, I deserved that. Always did. Always did. I never deserved anything my ex-husband gave me. Wow. Never deserved that. But yet I tolerated it. You know? And so I'm a whole woman. I'm a healed woman. Therefore, I'm a happy woman. And so what I give out to others is from that place and from that space. You know? And I can help because I can see it. I see Jack down the street around the corner in Mississippi. I can tell, oh baby, no, not him. Because I can see it. The blinders are off. Because I'm whole. Nothing is blocking that view. And I thank God for his grace and for his mercy on my life. Because it is just because of him. That's it. Because if I look back at the things that I've been through, I would be traumatized. And I look back sometimes like, now why are you not eating the paint off the wall?
Right. Yeah.
You know, you should be
afraid.
Yeah. Digging a whole hole on the wall. And it's just the grace and the mercy of God that he has kept me and he has healed me. And I don't allow that to affect what I currently have. I want to share a story before we end. And that's this. My current husband and I, we were married probably about a year or so. And I was in the kitchen cooking. He went down in the basement for something. And we kept extra stuff down there. So I realized that I didn't have whatever I needed upstairs. So I come out in the hallway. We're living in a 2-family at the time. I come out in the hallway and I holler down the stairs. I'm like, babe. And he didn't hear me. So I'm like, He was like, what? Remember that what? Remember that what? Because this is the first time you've ever said what to me. Everything in me froze. I'm serious. Like you have a brain freeze. Like I felt that from my head to my... And I started, like I was in a bubble almost. So I like back into the kitchen and was cooking and everything. And so he comes upstairs and he said, babe, what you want? And I said, I'll go down there. I'll get it. And so he said, I didn't hear you. I was in the back of the house. I said, okay, I'll go down there and hear it. And so he noticed that I was quiet.
Mm.
And I was quiet the rest of the evening. And so he asked me, he said, what's wrong? I said, I can't talk about it right now. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Because I'm like, you got to get out of this. I'm telling you, I had went somewhere, right? And so the next day, we were drinking coffee, sitting at the table, we were talking. And I told him what happened. And I told him, he didn't know that part about the ex-husband always saying what to me. And I told him that. And he says to me, he said, I just won't say what to you no more. He said, I'll just make a conscious effort not to answer you like that. You know what I said to him? I said, no. I said, I will not make you pay for what he did. I said, that's not on you, that's on me. I said, I know when you said what to me, it wasn't coming from the same place. I said, so I got to get healed.
You're right.
I got to get delivered. I'm not going to bind you with a word. I'm not going to make that yours. That's me. That ain't you. So I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be good. And so I had to work my way, out of that and everything. And, and to this day, he still is aware of that. And it was funny to me because the other day I had called him and he was like, what? And I just kind of chuckled. And from that point to this, I can count on one hand how many times he has said that to me. Because he's conscious of it. But he can say it to me every day. And it ain't going to affect me. Because he is not that person. And I am not going to make you pay for this person over here. So we got to get whole. And because if you don't, you will find God will send you somebody that's wonderful. And that person will be paying for the crimes of the previous person. And that is not his. We should not give that person that baggage. And we destroy our own blessing. Because now he walking away saying, she crazy.
So right.
Trying to love this girl.
She can't even receive it. Because she's making him pay for something that somebody else.
So it is. It absolutely is. Yeah, I was going to say it was something that you had said at the event that they just had, and you were saying like how when you went into your marriage, you told him like you don't want to argue.
Oh yeah,
I was going to say I tell people all the time like sometimes I try I don't know I kind of like I don't want to share my blessings because some people feel like you faking it, and I'm like no, this is really my relationship and I deserve it. And I'm happy about it, so I tell everybody like. From getting raped and molested at the age of 13, so from 13 to 29 to experience nothing but trauma, to being finally healed and to meet somebody that loved me, I'm going to shout it to the world. Whether you believe it or not. But a lot of people be like, no, y'all, it's not possible that y'all don't argue. I tell everybody, I told my husband, when I met him at the time, I'm like, he was younger. I'm like, no, you're younger than me. I don't want to date you. But when I got to know him, I met him at a time where my house got robbed. And I never had anybody do anything for me. And he was like, well, after everything calmed down, I know we can't go on our date because of what just happened. So I at least want to send you some money to get you something to eat. And then I'll come see you when I get off work. I said, you gonna do what? So that was intriguing to me. I'm like, he's younger, but his mentality was different. So when we started dating, I'm like, I don't want to go through the whole arguing thing. I've done it. I've been there. I've done it. And he promised me, like, that's not me. We can talk about our issues. I said, you said you're going to do what? And I tell people, like, marriage can be what you make it. A relationship can be what you make it if you got the right person.
That's right.
And when I heard you say that you guys have been together and haven't argued, okay, somebody else that feel me like this is possible. So can you just touch on that?
Yep, going on 9 years. Never had an argument. We just do not do that. My oldest son, he said to us one day, he came over and we sit at the kitchen table laughing, talking. He comes and sits down. He said, I've never heard y'all talk to each other above a whisper for real.
Wow.
And I said, and we have had times where we're in a situation, right? But my sons never knew it.
Wow.
They, to this day, they never, ever, because we have decided, and I believe it's just simply by making a decision.
Right. Absolutely.
You do not have to have a relationship that's volatile.
Absolutely.
That's traumatic. That every time that wears you
Right.
out and it ages you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why we just can't be having fun and laughing and talking to kids and playing
communicate.
and communicate. And when it's something that you do and say that I don't like, or something that I do and say, we can have a conversation. Right. But the first thing that we have to understand is, and this is one of the things, is we have personal wedding vows. And one of the things that I said to him was, I can't promise that I will never hurt you because we're human.
Wow.
But I can promise you that I'll never hurt you with intent.
Wow.
I'm not coming for you intentionally.
That's deep.
Oh, that's
I'm
beautiful.
not coming for you purposely.
That is beautiful.
Right. Never. And so he said the same thing to me. So we know that if for a chance, we hurt one another, it ain't because I'm coming for you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so that is more easy to think, oh, I know he ain't mean that.
Yeah.
We had to talk. And he, oh no, you thought that, oh, I'm sorry. And same for me. Same thing. It's just a conscious decision.
Absolutely.
And I just don't understand why married people can't make that conscious decision. I didn't understand it in my first marriage. I just did not understand it.
Right.
Why we can't just get along?
Like everything does not have to be an argument.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff happens from misconception. That's where a lot of arguments come.
Yeah. So we have this thing where if anything is wrong, I say, baby, you talk and I'll listen.
Yes.
And then it'll be vice versa. After you're done talking, hear what I have to say.
Right.
Like, people just have to learn how to communicate.
That's right.
And learn how to listen.
Yeah.
Don't listen to respond, listen to understand.
Yes.
Listen to break things apart.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Tink, would you have anything to say in closing?
No, I don't have anything to say.
Okay.
I got a lot of gems. Look.
Yes.
Waiting for a chandelier and go help. You taught me that today. So I gotta take that off the list.
Drop it high. That don't help me.
I gotta take it off the list. So I learned that today. So thank you, Ms. Brown.
Would you be able to share your book with the viewers?
Oh, yes. This is my book. It's entitled The Unloved Wife. This is my true story. Every word from cover to cover is absolutely the truth. If this was not my story and I read it, I'd be like, girl, she lied somewhere, but I promise y'all, this is the whole truth and nothing but. And it's funny because just the other day, I thought of several things that I did not put in the book. So I'm doing a revision. I really am. But I thought about something the other day, how I had got bused. Back in the day, the segregation, I got bused in John F. Kennedy. And I was so determined to get back to Adams where he was. Now, I am in the 10th grade. So, and I'm 14 because I was put up. Remember, I'm 14 in the 10th grade. Right. So they wouldn't give a special transfer. And my mother was like, I don't know what you're going to do. You just going to Kennedy. I was in Kennedy for 2 days. I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get back to Adams for this man, right? So I called the Board of Education.
You called me out.
I called the Board of Education, looked them up in the Yellow Pages. It wasn't Google, right? Called the Board of Education and to find out how could someone transfer from one school to another. They said there was no special transfers given. They said you have to live in the district. Ding, 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 ding. My mother's best friend. I waited till Ida got off work. I called Ida on the phone. I didn't ask my parents yet. I said, can I use your address to get to Adams? Go back to Adams. And she said, sure. I asked my mother. I said, can I use Ida's address to get back to Adams? She was like, yeah, but you got to do all the work. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not signing nothing. You do all the work. Why do I sign her name? I remember getting on the bus, going across 93rd to Woodhill and Woodland, where the building was. And getting on the bus, going in there. Yes. Getting the transfer. So my address for John Adams School is over on 113th on Benham. Not where I went to school there every day. Because I was determined to get back to John Adams.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's why I got a whole life. If I would have stayed at Kennedy, I would have got a whole other boyfriend. But anyway, I have my whole life is in this my marriage with him is in this book, The Unloved Wife. And the way this book came about, can I share real quick?
You can. Sure.
God had told me to journal, and I did a little bit, and then I would put it down, right? Because it was just like, this is unbearable. I can write this stuff, for real. And one night, it was really, 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 really bad. And I came out, sat at my dining room table, and I'm not the type of person that opens your Bible to speak to me. I'm the kind of person that reads systematically. This night, I opened the Bible. I said, God, I need you to speak to me. And I'm going to read what I saw. I had never, ever seen this before. I've read it 199 times. But this day, listen to what it says. For 3 things the earth trembles, and under 4 it can't bear up. For a servant when he is a king, a fool when he is filled with food, for an unloved woman when she is married.
Wow.
That's how I got the title.
That just gave me goosebumps.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
And then
And you never read it before?
I had read it, but I had never seen that. I had never seen that before. And then the cover, I was like, okay, so I'm going to cover. And I got a picture a friend of mine took after he had strangled me and left me for dead. She took a picture of my neck and my face, like my eyes was like when I woke up, it was just crazy. But anyway, I was gonna put that on the cover. And one of my pastor friends was like, I don't think you should put that on the cover. So I didn't. So I was asking God, now, what will be the cover? What will be the cover? And I promise you, I was riding across the Northfield on my way to work. And I'm just not even thinking about it, really listening to music on my way to my office. And I started seeing cars in front of me. I started seeing different ethnic women like fall down in my face. And I'm looking, right? And I hear God say, the unloved wife has no ethnicity. She's female.
That's beautiful.
And that's how I got all of these different women.
Wow. That is.
Yeah,
That is beautiful.
It was all supernatural, like I said. If it wasn't my life, I'd be like, girl, stop lying.
Right. Yeah.
And so I pray that those of you that will purchase the book, that it will help you. It has aided in so many people's lives. I've had women call me. I had one woman, she inboxed me. She said, I want to get your book. She said, but I can't buy it off of Amazon because he watches my Amazon account. She said, and I can't have it delivered here. She said, because he'll beat me. Yeah, it's real.
Wow.
Abuse is real.
It is.
It is so real. It is so real. And we keep walking past it. And the last thing I'm saying then, I'm going to be quiet, and that's it. We as women, moms, sisters, girlfriends, fathers, brothers, cousins, whatever, pay attention to the signs because they're there.
Absolutely.
It absolutely is. When you have a sister, daughter, mother, friend, or whatever, they got a whole husband, a whole wife. They never say anything about it. They keep it on the low because they can't say anything good.
Exactly.
It's all bad, so they say nothing. If they have a person that's involved in their lives, and it's a special occasion, it's their birthday, and you say, oh, what did Rick bring you back for your birthday? And say, oh, he didn't give you anything. He didn't get you nothing for your birthday. He didn't get you nothing for Christmas. He didn't get you nothing for Mother's Day. He didn't get you nothing for Flag Day. He don't get something for Flag Day. Right. All of those things are telltale signs. But we don't pay attention to that. You have a whole spouse, and everybody is on social media now. Absolutely. They're on social media, but there's no pictures of them. And then pay attention to pictures. Like I asked a friend of mine that lives in Tennessee. I saw a picture of him and his wife, and he hadn't said anything about what was going on. And I said, oh, y'all don't like each other. Somebody had tagged him in a picture. They were at a wedding ready. I said, y'all don't like each other. He said, why would you say that? I said, I watched the body language. When I tell y'all, I can see it. You know how when you at the table, get somebody's reception, they come around, take the picture. Yeah. They say, get together. So if you my husband, we doing this.
Absolutely.
This is what they did. Give me your hand.
Oh,
It's still a distance. And you know what he said
that's-
to me?
Yeah.
He said, "You're absolutely right."
Wow.
So I watch pictures, I watch communication, I watch how they interact in the room with people. I watch all that. I could spot it. I spot it walking in the door.
Wow.
And that don't mean you gotta be all over each other.
Mm-hmm.
But that body language go tell
Yeah,
you.
It is, for sure.
I was at an event and these people are really popular.
Mm-hmm.
And the wife was standing there, I was selling jewelry. The wife was standing there talking to me. And he came over and he touched her back and she jumped. So we're friends. And I said to her, I said, you were startled by that. And she said, yeah. She was like, I ain't see him coming. I said, I said, just so I said, I said, you're not used to physical touch from him. She dropped her head. She looked at him. She said, Roz, you're right.
Wow.
When I say I lived it.
Yes.
I lived it.
So
I can spot it. And we have to pay attention because they're not saying anything to us.
They're
we
not.
pay attention to the sign, then we can say, baby, I see
you.
And then maybe
And I'm
that'll
here.
open the door so they can talk and then formulate a plan.
Yes.
Because don't just leave, get your plan.
Absolutely.
You gotta get a plan.
Get your plan. You gotta know what's happening. You know, because a lot of times they hold the purse strings.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But you know how to finagle it. You just go to the grocery store, you got $100, you spend 73.
Exactly.
You take that 17.
Put it up.
Yeah.
Is that rainy day coming?
Right. Yeah. For real. Get a plan. Don't
Absolutely.
just because a lot of women, and here's something about domestic violence statistics. We leave 3 or 4 times before we permanently leave. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Keep
deep.
going back.
That is deep. It's true.
Keep going back. Because I did.
Right.
You keep going back before you permanently leave. Yeah. So you have to have, because you don't have a plan. It's just something that happens, and then you just say, I got to go, I just can't take it no more. But if you had some money, you had your own credit card, you had somebody that they didn't know that lived, in a whole nother state, right? You can leave while they're going to work, baby. Say, where did she go?
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Well, I want to thank both of you ladies for this wonderful interview.
For sure.
Thank you guys so much. Would you be able to tell them where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me on all social platforms. Put in Rosalind Atkinson. I'm going to pop up from everything from IG to Facebook. You can get my book by inboxing me or going right to Amazon and getting it, or going to www.theunlovedwife.com and it'll pop right up and you can purchase it there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tink, you have any closing remarks?
No, not really.
Okay.
I had a good time today. Thank you so much.
Yes, you
Thank you for allowing me to co-host.
That's wonderful.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.